This is the second part of a three-part series of what I'd like to see from Preston Bus in the future. If you haven't already seen part one, please be sure to check it out as it continues where part one left off. My recommendations would be to withdraw the services 8 Moornook, 12 Longton, 14 Holmslack, 16 Farringdon Park, 44 Cotton and 49 Royal Preston Hospital, or RPH as some people call it. The 44 service is already served by at least one other Preston Bus route along the majority of the route, and only the part that isn't is around Ingall. The 49 Royal Preston Hospital, or RPH once again, service is exactly the same and is covered by at least one other route along the majority of its route. The parts around Longsands Lane, Pitman Way, Oliver's Place, Longfield and Broadwood Drive would be served by demand responsive buses, which I'll explain more about later on. On Longfield and Broadwood Drive there are currently no bus stops, and it's currently a hail and ride service. However, I don't think that would be a problem, as you could either put bus stops up key places or just make it available for the customer to let the driver know where they wanted to be picked up and dropped off from themselves. It's at the end of a road or opposite a road. Janice Drive and Conway Drive, which have long since had a bus route, probably about 5 to 10 years, would be covered by demand responsive buses as well, and perhaps Stratford Drive and Oxford Road as well, which used to have a bus route in the Zippy days, and maybe a bit after, I'm not sure, but hasn't actually had a bus route for approximately 20 plus years now, I think. But I believe there are plenty of elderly people who live on the route who struggle to get out much or have problems with their mobility. Janice Drive and Conway Drive don't have any bus stop signs, but they have places for bus stop timetables. So all you would potentially need to be added is the bus stop signs or markings on the road that say bus stop. Oxford Road and Stratford Drive also don't have any bus stops on the route, but this could be rectified in the same circumstances as Longfield and Broadwood Drive. Both 8 Moornook and 16 Farringdon Park services have buses from other companies running along the majority of their routes. I would like for Preston Bus to take over the service 1 Longridge route. However, unlikely this might seem, as it's currently run by Stagecoach, and I don't think it's a subsidy of Lancashire County Council. Perhaps they could buy the route off Stagecoach though, but that would potentially cost lots of money. If they did manage to get the Longridge Bus route though, then it would compensate for withdrawing the 8 Moornook service, and the part between Rebleton Hall Drive, Pope Lane and Grisdale Crescents would be covered by demand responsive buses. I'd like to see Preston Bus get the service 280 Skipton bus service again, running on a half-hourly basis, which would compensate for the 16 Farringdon Park being withdrawn, and Cairnsmore Avenue and Tudor Avenue would be covered by demand responsive buses, which is the only part of the 16 Farringdon Park service that wouldn't be covered anymore. I'd like to see Preston Bus get more Preston to out of town routes, plus bring either the 2 park and ride bus back to serve at Port Way and the centre of Preston area, or get the other park and ride, the 1 to Wantley Dale service again, and run it between the 2 sites, which they have done in the past, with it running through the centre of Preston. This is mainly because I believe the 89 Larches service bus can get busy at certain times of the day. So I think it would be better to have its own bus service again, and that they wouldn't be set to a regular route or times, but use existing bus stops. You just have to pre-book the bus to where it is you want to go. This could perhaps be done over the phone, going into the information centre on the bus station or the depot, using an app on Facebook or through Facebook Messenger or on their website. You can pay by cash like you usually can do when you get on the bus, or pay by card. Either when you get on the bus, put your card details in when using the app, or give them over the phone or pay using the card machine at the information centre or the depot. Multiple people could get on at multiple stops to go to the various destinations. For instance, someone might have booked to get on the bus at Homeslack and travel to Royal Preston Hospital, or RPH again. Someone from Janice Drive might have pre-booked to go to Asda. Someone from Conway Drive might have pre-booked to go to Sainsbury's. Someone from Oxford Drive or Stratford Drive might have pre-booked to go to Penwitham. Someone might have pre-booked from Grisdale Crescent to go to Tudor Avenue at Farnley Park. Someone might have pre-booked from Ingle and travel to New Longton, and someone might have pre-booked at Lane Ends to go to Longton. And also potentially the 43 at Royal Preston Hospital. I'm not sure though what to do about that. Perhaps you could change it with the 46 Longridge service. So perhaps an alternative would be to get the 43 to go to the end of where it meets Hoyles Lane and Tag Lane, and turn left and go through Mudplumpton, Broughton, Goosner and Whittingham as to Longridge, as the 46 does now. And the 46 could go up to the Gill Merchant Junction, turn right and go through up Lightfoot Lane to Wishaw, go back up Lightfoot Lane along Garstang Road to RPH. Alternatively, the part in between Bow Lane and Savoy Timber could be covered, and Hoyles Lane and Royal Preston Hospital could be covered by demand responsive buses. Although they aren't Preston bus routes, I can see the 1A Gamble Lane service and the 9 Moornook bus service being withdrawn, as I've never seen either of them busy. So these would also be served by demand responsive buses as well, plus perhaps even some more routes as well. I only suggest these because, as far as I know, they don't seem to be well used. You could perhaps get a bus within 10 minutes if you wanted it straight away, depending on where you live or where the bus is at the time. When there was no one wanting to be picked up, they could be parked up at either laybys or bus stops. If there was no passengers on them, if the buses that I would imagine being used would be Optare Solo SLs, Optare Solos, or Optare Solo SRs. If they weren't going to use the bus station, then the Mercedes-Benz Sprinters, Mellors, Stratton could go on this service as well. These buses aren't permitted on the bus station due to the layout. They could serve areas such as Garstang, Chipping, Dunsop Bridge, Samlesbury, Penwitham, Leyland, Freckleton, Wharton and Ray Green outside of Preston. I'm going to include an image of the area that I would serve by demand responsive buses now, which will be the next image. I'd also like to see them get rid of the 312 Wrightington to Skelmersdale service and the 313 Skelmersdale to Burscough bus service, as they don't actually serve Preston itself at all. And to me it seems pointless for Preston Bus to have them and send buses to and from the area every day, Monday to Friday, but would hopefully then get replaced by a local bus company. What I would also do is to adjust the timetables so there are more buses at peak time when people seem to want them, and slightly less when it's off peak when less people seem to want them. So perhaps services were during peak time. Peak times are approximately 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. services could perhaps be either every 15 to 20 minutes, reducing to 20 minutes to half an hour at off-peak. This would perhaps be similar to an evening timetable as well. That's the end of part 2. Make sure you tune back for part 3. On a slight side note, there has been talk about opening up the old tram line to Longridge from Deepdale Mill Street for a long time now. I'd like to see this happen, but considering there's been talk about this happening now for probably about 10 years, I don't think it will ever happen, although they do have permission, I believe, or perhaps apply for permission again, to start running trams along the stretch of the line, and have started doing clearing work on the site.